Defensively, I thought we played really well. I thought our ball screen coverage was the best it's been all year. We, obviously as many ball screens as they set, there were a couple, mistakes. It's going to happen. Part of dealing with it is, Bob Knight said it best, basketball is a game of mistakes. Whoever makes the fewest wins the game. And luckily for us, we didn't make a lot of them. But what the best part of our defense today was we didn't commit like just bad, stupid fouls. We owned up to our responsibilities when they got to certain spots. We've been talking a lot about the term that we use in basketball, wall up, which means put your hands straight up in the air and create a wall and make them shoot over you. And those are the things we did. And sometimes we were fortunate they missed, and other times we forced them to miss. And then rebounding, second half, I thought we did a great job on the glass. I mean, Keyshawn Bryant, that tip in there with a 3-point game or something, it was a huge play by him. And defensively, we cleaned up the defensive glass.
Let's go to Colin with the first one.
Frank, just how good did this win feel, especially for these guys having to go through so much? Just how good did it feel to see them get something good happen to them?
Yeah, that's what I told them after the game. And, our challenges are not a talent thing. They're not a bad guy thing. It's just a matter of embracing the moment that we're in and committing ourselves. We all got to do a little bit more, and then holding each other accountable. And then the biggest thing that we got, which is just, every team, a lot of teams in the country are battling. It's not just South Carolina. Is we've created an environment where we kind of all look out for ourselves, and we got to keep fighting that. It's basketball and team sports are no fun when you play for yourself. You got to play for your team, and when we do that, we're a pretty good basketball team.
Dick Cox.
Frank, can you talk about, you've been preaching all season on wanting the team to be aggressive and attack the basket. Yeah. And tonight in the second half, they didn't put the three up and, attack the basket, and good things happen.
Yeah, Dick, that's the way we started the game. And we had a lead, and then we started shooting. We had 10 consecutive possessions in the first half when we had a lead where the ball never touched the paint. And so then that allows them to get out in the open court and come at us. And I thought the second half, we were great. Seventh Woods made some extremely big time plays in the middle of the floor where he's really good at. But at the end, offensively, we stopped taking those quick shots. We stopped turning it over. And to your point, I think we scored we made 18 shots in the second half in the paint, if I'm not mistaken, or twos, and you got to make some threes to win, but whoever wins the fight for the paint still wins the game. That's, the threes is for the fans and stats and for all the, the people that sit around and say it's a pretty game when it's played that way. I don't disagree. I wish we could make 15, 16 threes in a game. But at the end of the day, you want to win, you better get that ball on the paint. And we did that tonight.
John Dell.
Rick, you just complimented Seventh. I was wondering if you could just expand on just how big of a game this is for him and for impacting the team the way he did tonight.
Yeah, we didn't bring Seventh home to just kind of let him out to pasture. At South Carolina. We brought him home to make him feel good about himself. We brought him home to give him a chance to compete. And that's the journey that we're on. And, Seventh's a great kid. And seeing him play with that aggression, that's the stuff I saw from him at Hammond, in high school. And I used to tell him when I was recruiting him, I said, you ever give me the chance, man, I'm going to be on you every day to pull that out of you, like every single day. And, he's been playing more aggressive and more aggressive and more aggressive. And it's fun to watch because, defensively, I'm about him guarding Trey Mann and getting over those ball screens one after the other, and just battling. And everything starts with your point guard. When your point guard plays well defensively, when your point guard plays aggressively on offense, it gives your team a chance.
Phil Kornblue.
All right. Hang on. There we go. Frank, after your recent losses, you've said that the practices before those losses were generally not real good, and you could sense that you weren't going to play well. So were practices good this week leading up to this game? Did you sense you were going to play well?
Absolutely, Phil. It's day and night, like our practice before Vanderbilt was embarrassing, embarrassing just how disinterested and selfish we were. And getting ready for Florida, Jermaine, Keyshawn, those two guys in specific, AJ, they were aggressive, not only with their play, but their voices. Seventh Woods was real good in practice yesterday. And that carries over, man. I know today's society, everyone's like, why practice? Just play games, but that's not the way the world works, man. The game is a reward for putting in the time in practice. And you want to call me old fashioned or whatever it is, that's the way I understand how to succeed. And it's the way I want my teams to be represented. And I'm going to keep my foot on the pedal and make that happen. And that's what I'm pushing from these guys right now is that enthusiasm to come in and compete. And they were good the last 2 days. And I'm not surprised we played well today.
Michael and Anna.
Frank, yeah, you were talking, I guess, a week or so ago about just establishing a structure defensively and how it's hard to do that without the practices. And obviously, you've made some changes to what you normally do defensively. Do you feel like guys are settling more into that structure? Do you feel like you have maybe a more concrete idea of what that structure looks like for this group of players that you have?
Yeah, I mean, Michael, at the end of the day, I told the players before the game today, a coach's job is to create the strategy for the players to play in. The player's job is to go out and play as hard as they can within that strategy. Guarding the basketball is not a coach's responsibility. That is a player responsibility. And we got to get better at that. And that's one of the reasons I changed our man-to-man defense is because we don't have those two straight weeks of practice with no games where we can really break that down and get better at those things. Where right now, everything is game prep. Like offensively, I don't call any plays. What we're doing offensively right now is so basic and simple because I'm spending so much time in trying to create this new defensive philosophy that we put in. And I didn't play as much zone today as I wanted to. My mindset going into the game today was to play some zone to protect us from Castleton on the inside. But I thought our man was so good, I stuck with it. But at the end of the day, player ownership is what matters. That's why I told you guys the other day. You look at some teams; they got great players, they score a lot of points, they don't win. You know why they don't win? It's not a talent thing. It's a lack of commitment thing to play together for each other. And that's what the defensive side of the floor, that's what it represents. Your team's unity, your team's connectedness. And when we do that, we got a chance to be pretty good. And that's what we're fighting to create that identity.
Johnny Whittle.
Frank, y'all been out on the court for a while now, able to practice. Do you feel like, especially with today's game, that you can start seeing a little bit more consistency from some of those guys really on both ends of the floor, but definitely defensively and how connected they are?
Absolutely, John. Absolutely. That's the part that, the more you're around each other, the more you understand each other, the more you can hold each other accountable. And, that's a big part of being able to grow is doing it every day. And, how about our schedule? Just think about it. Because, not only everyone's talking about COVID and all this stuff, and it is what it is. I'm not going backwards on that anymore. We're moving forward. But 2 in Kansas City, 1 at, I think they're ranked 5th in the country, Houston, at LSU, at Missouri, at Florida. Just think about the challenges that coming off I know I left another away game out of there somewhere. Think about the challenges that as we're trying to get right as a team, the games that we've had to go play on the road. You know, it's us at Vanderbilt. There you go. I knew I left one out there. You know, the courage for these kids to keep battling and growing. You know, as a coach, it makes you feel good.
Mitch Brown.
Coach, I asked AJ this. Not sure if you're big into rides or amusement parks, but this has been one of the craziest roller coasters you've ever been on. Obviously, you say you're not looking backwards, but you still got a couple more stops to go on this ride.
Yeah, Mitch, I don't even know if roller coaster is the right word. It's something bigger than that. It's been like nothing I've ever experienced professionally. You know, I've dealt with some heartache and craziness in my personal life, but professionally, I've never dealt with what we're dealing with right now and trying to manage it. This is new. You know, some coaches might say, "Yeah, I got this figured out." I'm just telling you, I think great leadership is honesty, especially with the people you're leading. And you know, when I speak with the guys, I tell them, like, I'm trying to figure this out too now. You know, it's not in the manual 101, you know, of coaching philosophy that you take in college, how you manage this moment. This is something that you got to dig deep in your gut, and you got to be emotionally invested to try and figure out how to make decisions and create structure and manage the personalities to make it work. But the one thing I'm not going to do, which I don't know if I rarely speak about myself, but the one thing I do every day is the harder it gets, the taller I stand. And that's my responsibility to young people is not to wilt, not to sit down, not to create excuses. No, on the contrary, the harder things get, the taller I stand, because it's my duty as the leaders of these players to show courage and hope as we're all trying to figure out how to deal with this right now.
All right, we got 4 questions left in the queue, so we'll get to these 4, and then we'll let Coach go. Colin.
Frank, you mentioned Jermaine as someone whose voice was pretty loud in practice yesterday. Didn't have maybe a prolific night-to-night score, but made a few big plays down the stretch. What's that say about him to where he's able to maybe not have the scoring night he wants to, but still make plays for you, especially in the defensive end?
Jermaine had his best defensive game of the year. You know, he guarded Appleby for the most part. You know, guarded Trey Mann some, but he had his most consistent defensive game of the year. He was on it and made some really hard plays defensively. Came up with some balls, like dove on this one ball on the sideline over there in front of opposite side of their bench to create an open court dunk for Keyshawn, if I'm not mistaken, in a crucial part of the game. You know, him and Keyshawn have been by far the 2 most committed players with their voices. The last, I don't know, the day before Vanderbilt, we were all bad. But outside of that day, those 2 guys have been the 2 most consistent guys with their voices and their effort in trying to help us connect, to make us play for each other and stay in a positive place. Hey, by the way, I know I'm a Florida boy, and you know I'd like to go get on this bus, boys. You guys trying to keep me in Florida? It's I'm just joking, man. I'm trying to make myself laugh. I'm not real good after games. I'm still wound up from the game, but I think we got 3 more questions.
3 more
Emily's
questions.
mad. Yeah, just so you guys know, Emily's mad. So whenever you deal with her, she's coming down on you guys. She wants to go home and see her daughter.
Phil.
Well, we got nothing else to do. So, but 2 really quick ones. You had 13 turnovers and they blocked 12 shots. So that's 25 possessions where you don't get a shot up at the rim. How do you explain overcoming that to win the game? And then secondly, you're coming home for a 3-game homestand. So how crucial coming off a win for your future success of this season, this upcoming homestand, how big is it for you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Phil, we're not in a place right now, I'll kind of answer the latter part first. We're not in a place as a team where we can be consumed with 3 games in a row at home. We got to take advantage of tomorrow. And I'm just telling you, it's not coach speak. I am telling you that is the way we've got to manage this. 1 foot in front of the other, 1 day at a time, and not get in front of ourselves. The talent on our team is good enough for us to win games. We just got to figure out to find that consistency and create that personality that we've lacked. We lacked it before we got shut down, and we've lacked it since. And we're starting to see some moments where we show it. So, but it's getting this win makes us feel good, so we can figure out a way to keep that hope and that feel good mentality that allows you to come back and do it again tomorrow. And then we got to go deal with Saturday when Saturday gets here and fight our tails off like we did tonight and figure that one out. And if we can figure that one out, then the journey starts again for the next one. And I think we got 8 left. I think that's the number. And we got plenty of games left that if we can win, we'll be in a really good place because our strength of schedules will be really good for whatever the future holds. But at the end of the day, I told you guys last week, just because we won today, I'm not changing this whole winning and losing games right now. It's not part of my formula day to day. It's getting our team to play a certain way every day. And that's what I'm fighting. And that's the place I'm trying to get to right now.
All right, we had a couple hands drop after you said Emily was mad, Coach, so must have worked.
I'm just telling you. All you guys that are single, that's Colin. You don't want to make her mad now. That's Colin. Colin knows what that life is all about.
We got Dick Cox with the last question here for Coach.
Okay, Frank, hopefully you're going to be able to get the conference tournament in this year. Any chance that you're going to try to lobby to play it in Gainesville? Your record there is pretty good. AJ and a lot of the guys have never lost there. And it seems like your teams play one of their best games of the year every year at Florida. Is there any secret to that?
Dick, I don't know. I just know that I realize that we've won some games here. But here's the deal. Let's be honest, because that's the part that nobody speaks about back home. We've won a lot of SEC games the last 5 years. And ever since Michael Kerr, our senior year, we've won a whole bunch of SEC games. And when you win all those SEC games, that means you got to win in other people's buildings, not just at home. And we're just, I don't know. I don't have an answer why we have the ability to come in here and win, and we can't win at Vanderbilt. I think we won at Vanderbilt Hassani's senior year, if I remember correctly. And outside of that, I don't think we've ever played well at Vanderbilt. So I don't know. I just know this. What I do keep track of is when I was at K-State, the only road venue we never won at was Kansas. And here we haven't won at Kentucky, and we have not won at Alabama, I want to say. Those are the 2 places we haven't won at. So I'm just, it's we're fortunate, man. We try to work really hard and give ourselves a chance to win wherever we play at. And, we're fortunate that we've been able to do that here at Gainesville. 3 of the last 4 or something like that. I think we lost here our final 4 year, and we've won the next 3 now, if I'm not mistaken. So, just fortunate. That's it. Because they're a real good team. By the way, they're the hottest team in the conference. They're a real good team. And so for us to be able to come in here and do that tonight was pretty special.